Okay, wait, this is so loud. I didn't even think. I have this online radio station and it's so loud. Hello, everyone. Here I am. Turn that off. Go back to here and see. Here I am live, which I never do because I am very shy in nature and camera shy and all that stupid stuff. But here I am. It's Amy. And I thought I would come on. I've got this old Reddy shirt on and my Beatles shirt too. Here I am. There's so much going on. And since I am not at work, I worked a lot. I worked all through December, which was good because I made money. Um, Not a whole bunch of money, but enough money to get through Christmas. Plus, I had people that were kind enough, a few people that sent me just out of nowhere these beautiful gifts of cash that I didn't expect at all. And I was really grateful. It got me through Christmas. It was amazing how it got me through. So anyway, here I am. I have a little time, and I thought since I have time, beat the shyness, do a live, and just come on here and talk about politics. Because let's face it, you guys, these are really dark days, and that's something just to come on here and provide a little comfort in these horrible dark days. And in fact, today is we're just having such unseasonably warm weather, but it said today would be 61 degrees. Now, can you imagine January, 61 degrees, no snow. Maybe we had like a few flakes early January, but it's been pretty warm. And so, but it said 61, but it's overcast, and we've had this white, gray sky all day. So warm, but no sunlight, besides a few little specks of sunlight. But anyway, here we are. Let's talk about politics. So yeah, I worked all through Christmas. It's okay. Let's talk about Christmas again, because I made that post about how Christmas just went by so fast. And then as soon as it's over, everyone rips off the lights. And, I experienced Christmas inside the theater where I work, the restaurant theater that I work in. And there were, lights in there and some Christmas and holiday decorations. And then on the way home from work, the way I experienced Christmas working as much as I did, and I have a long drive back and forth, was to see Christmas lights and trees and things like that. And then I had maybe like 2 days off to fully experience Christmas and go out and do shopping. And I actually asked Spirit, I said, please slow down time so I can experience Christmas and it won't go by in it like that. And then because I really feel like I didn't get to do Christmas this year. I didn't watch the movies, didn't get to do all that because I was always working. And part of working is also getting ready for work and driving to work. Anyway, so I asked Spirit to slow down time. It's for 2 days of Christmas, of shopping and getting everything done and experiencing Christmas and watching the movies I wanted to watch and seeing family. It's weird how it actually worked. I literally felt like by Christmas Day and everything shut down and time seems to stand still. I really felt like on Christmas Day that I had achieved everything and time had slowed down enough where I fully experienced Christmas. And but having said that, afterwards, then I was sick for New Year's. I was sick for a week, like everyone else. And then after being sick, it's kind of like looking around going, oh, Christmas is fully over now. Everyone took down their lights. There's just a few people on the way home from work where you see their lights are still on or their tree's still lit up. And you're like, oh, thank God. Because to me, as I said in that video, Christmas or the holidays, the, season, it's a season. It's the light. It's the light because it's the darkest time of the year. Really, Christmas is it's about Christ, the light. But it's also about the solstice and how dark it is and how light is so necessary to get us through these dark times and spiritually dark times. So I just feel like anyone who still has any holiday or Christmas lights up or their tree or whatnot, I just feel like, oh, thank God, because it brings the light back. It brings that joy to get us through these dark months and these dark times. And what else? I just feel like it's so important, but also the message from Spirit is to keep the light within and radiate it out to others. And here's a good example of it. So at work, and everything I talk about is intuitive and spiritual, right? I talk with my heart, my mind, but everything also is very spiritual and intuitive. So at work, a girl came in a year ago named Sarah, and just this beautiful young woman, lady, um, musician like me, singer like me. Uh, and I trained her like that first night I trained her. I was like, what a beautiful girl. And it's like, as soon as she started working there, so kind, so friendly. And she was a light. She had a light. And I noticed that literally everyone in the restaurant knew her. Like she knew them, they knew her. And I was like, wow, I've been here for a year more than her. And I don't know all these people. And she's just one of those people that she made it her point to say hi to everybody, to find out who everyone was. And even the nasty people who I don't really like or get along with, which is very few. I like almost everybody. But she, got along with them and was cordial with them. And then she decided it was time to leave, which is good because as a singer, musician, you've got to move on and do things in your life. And so it's time to leave. And she had her final night, and I cried because I was just like, oh my God, this beautiful light, this beautiful, kind person who brings light everywhere she goes. The light is on the inside. We bring the light to the outside, to the world. That beautiful light is going to leave. And now when I go to work, my friend won't be here anymore. And it really, I cried. And then she went, and then something happened and she had to come back for like a month. So she was there, or like 2 weeks or whatever it was. And she still worked. I was like, oh, good. But kind of awkward because we'd already all said goodbye to her. But I noticed just how I had another chance to look at how, the pettiness and the gossip and everything else, how she was always kind. And she complained about some things, but really not ever. She just always was they called her, she would go in. And the thing is, she's not a pushover because she's living her life. She's out, she's performing. She's moved to LA now. And she didn't lose anything by being kind to anyone. She didn't sacrifice anything. If anything, she gained, and she gave and she gained. And so when I went to work this weekend and everybody was bitching and being petty and all these things, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to be like Sarah, and I'm going to let that all roll off my back, and I'm going to be kind and cordial and gracious like Sarah. And you know what? That whole night I had like this happy, generous, upbeat attitude, where maybe I would have been miserable because they put me in like the position I didn't want to be in with people I don't really, just the few people that are like, have been just gossipy and stuff like that. Anyway, point being, that light, okay, point being, be the person who is the light. Like when you go into a room and people cry because you walk in a room, that means that you are stealing the light. Like someone like 45 and what's going on right now with, the horrible things that are happening in our country. That's people who steal the light. They steal the happiness. They bring pain. They enjoy pain. They enjoy suffering. They bring darkness. So if somebody walks in a room and you cry, that you're probably not a good person, right? But somebody who leaves and you cry, that's someone who brought light. But instead of crying, or after the tears are over, you realize, oh, I can be the light too. And I really think that's what true faith and true spirituality is that the light is within each of us, and we bring it to others and can make others experience the light. And that's really what this whole lesson, why I'm here right now, is because we're so often taught to suffer, and we are suffering right now. It's hard not to suffer right now because someone's forcing suffering on one of ours, our neighbor. We're supposed to love our neighbor. But we have to remember to keep the light and to be the light. Be the light. And that will radiate out to the others who right now are bringing suffering and are taking the light, and they're bringing darkness, the darkness of fear and hatred and violence and all these things. So, but be the light. That is what we're here to do on earth, is to be the light and spread the light and radiate it out to each other. And that's a very important message. And if I ended this video right now, then that's all that really I think I was supposed to say, but we'll do some politics here. So let me bring up my list and see how there's nobody here. That tells me that yet again, YouTube has hidden me. I'm hidden. Also, I probably didn't give enough warning, but let's face it, I get hidden by YouTube. They put me on private. So that's not good. So I may end up doing another video just on the wall like I do. Anyway, keep going. I have a list here to talk about, and I'll see if I can read my writing. Political topics, January 13th, 2026. Minnesota. And I wrote icy toads bring they're like, okay, so this whole thing, everybody should watch Lord of the Rings, because what's happening right now is Lord of the Rings in America. 45 is Sauron. If you know who Sauron, he's the dark, horrible, like troll king who brings everyone from the underworld, the caves and the underworld, to bring suffering and misery, because it's like a spiritual battle, the light and dark. The ring came forth, and I feel like, in a way, Kamala, not to draw her up as some like goddess or anything, but Kamala was like the ring. Like, do you want this? Do you want this beautiful, shiny thing? And the trolls of the underworld showed up and blotted out that. And it's a battle over the ring, which is like Kamala's enlightenment, because Kamala means lotus, and that's enlightenment. But anyway, so 45 is Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and everybody should watch Lord of the Rings. That's what America's going through right now, and the world, really. And his orc trolls from the underworld are the Olag Ai, but also the hill trolls. That's who they are. Go look it up. Olag Ai, AI, which is ironic. Olag AI, or hill trolls. That's what Icy Roads are. And it's a spiritual war. He has rotted them out. Oh, there's one person. Hello, person. YouTube's hiding me. I've been here for 12 minutes and YouTube hid me for 12 minutes. So, okay, so we're going through Lord of the Rings right now. The battle for the ring. The ring is the enlightenment, and Kamala was like the ring, and 45 is Sauron. And the Icy Roads agents are the Olag Ai trolls, the orc trolls, or the hill trolls, and it's a battle for enlightenment and light. It's a spiritual war. So these Icy Road, usually guys with their tactical gear, and they're getting guns and everything else, they are infected by the darkness, and willing to bring fear and control and violence and death upon the light. And it's what it is they're afraid of their own weakness inside, like their vulnerability and their innocence and their weakness. They are fighting gentle people and innocent people, and what they see as weak people, because it's the weakness within them that they are snuffing out and killing, basically, and putting them in containment centers to contain the weakness that is inside them that they have never faced, which, as we know, a weakness can be a strength. A lot of your weaknesses are your strengths. And a lot of your strength is your weakness, because strong men are usually have no ability to handle their emotions. And as you saw from a lot of these videos, these orc trolls going to Minnesota and such have no control over their emotions. If somebody says something to them they don't like, or in a tone they don't like, and they shoot them or break their window open and drag them into the street, and they have no emotional control. They have no control. Their strength is out of control. Their strength is their weakness. So these Icy Road people are fighting their own inability to accept that they have vulnerability inside themselves. They've never dealt with it. Plus, they're infected. It's a spiritual battle. They're infected by demons. I hate to say it, but right now, there's a battle where a whole bunch of these people are infected by demons. Now, I'll tell a story, another story works. So there's some people, obviously we're going to have people in our lives who are MAGA. And most people I work with are liberal. In fact, I think 70%, as I've said, 70% of people in America right now are Democrat, or just at least not MAGA, or like not Trump supporters. 70%. So that's the majority of us are not supporting what's happening and not supporting the guy, the Sauron. But we're still going to come across family or friends or neighbors or coworkers who are MAGA. And this woman, after the Minnesota thing, these two men, one liberal and one MAGA. I heard them talking, and the liberal woman said, I watched the video, and he shot her, and she was driving away, and he shot her. And the MAGA woman said, no, she was going to run into him. She was going to kill him. And the liberal woman said, no, that's not it at all. I watched all the videos, and in every video, she was driving away. She was fleeing. He didn't need to shoot her. She was literally trying to get away. Didn't you watch the video? And the MAGA woman said, I don't need to. So basically, MAGA, they don't want to see the videos. They'd rather see doctored AI videos and hear doctored evidence and false evidence, because they've gone this far living on lies to prove their point that they're right and everyone else is wrong. They've gone this far. It's like the flat earth theory. As soon as you show them a picture, or they put them up in an airplane where they see that the earth is round and that we are round just like all the other planets in the solar system, then it is like the house of cards, where all the other things that they think that they have to believe, that it's a lie. They've been living a lie. So of course they're not going to listen to facts and look at evidence, because it would destroy the narrative that they have that they're right. And I think this is a huge part of MAGA, is that they have too much pride, like Pride and Prejudice for real, which is a joke that I've told for a while, that they have pride and prejudice. And they don't want the facts, because they want to be, they have too much pride. They have too much pride. They don't like to be wrong. And part of being MAGA means not being wrong, not being caught being wrong. It's really hard to say you're wrong or I'm sorry, but that's part of life, isn't it? And so anyway, moving on from that. MAGA have been waiting. Here's the sad thing. So as I watch all these videos and see all the stuff happening, and then the comments online, and by the way, there's a lot of bots online, but you do come across a real MAGA once in a while who says, well, why didn't she comply? Or her, or the other person, or this immigrant, or whatnot. Democrat immigrants, women, that's just who they hate right now. They hate all of them. And why didn't they comply? Well, what do we do? What do we do? As I said the other day, what do we do? Give us a list of rules now in America. Are we supposed to say, shoot me? I'm Democrat. Or can we move? Are we supposed to allow them to rape us for entertainment purpose only? Sorry about that word. But, are we supposed to let them steal our things, beat us, shoot us? What's the rules? Can we say no? Can we say, I want to speak to a lawyer? Can we say anything? Are we allowed to flee a scene? Are we allowed to have any rights? I mean, do not comply. What does that mean? That sounds like someone, like a rapist, who says, you have to succumb to me, and you say no, and they say, well, I'm doing it anyway. And then later they say, you asked for it. They tell the victim, you asked for it. What does do not comply mean? She was turning her car away. And then I said, well, why didn't he shoot the tire? And they go, oh God, that's so stupid. But it's not stupid. But first of all, why do we have to shoot anything? Here's the thing. So her girlfriend or wife was mouthing off to the agent, right? Okay. Maybe she shouldn't have done that, but that is allowed in life. And it's an American right, freedom of speech. You can mouth off to somebody. She wasn't hitting him. She didn't touch him. She didn't do anything. She said some things he didn't like get some lunch, bro. And then the driver, Renee Good, was saying, it's all good. So she was peaceful. She was playing the pacifist. What she didn't do is she didn't get out of the car and let him step on her and tie her up. And so when she decided to drive away because he was grabbing for her with his gun, she saw he had, because if you watch the video, he was holding his phone because he filmed it too. He had a phone, and then he moved the phone and grabbed his gun. That's the moment when she decided, I better get the hell out of here. So, and then he had to reach inside the driver's side window, bam, 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 in the face, because he couldn't control his anger that she was getting away. So what are our rights? And adding to that, let me tell you a story. Sunday on the way to work, I just gotten gas. I just gotten gas, and I got on the highway and I got pulled over really quick. I've never been pulled over by a cop that I drove by. They were always like beside me. They were bed down at the stoplight before I got on the highway. I have to get new tags. I'm like a month behind. I need to update my tags. I've been working. And I did try to get new tags, but because I changed my insurance, it's this thing. So I have to get new tags. Okay. I'm a month behind. Anyway, so I got pulled over. And I have to tell you that after this had just happened to Renee Good, I was in my car and I was shaking. I had my insurance, I had my driver's license, everything's cool, everything's up to date. But I was shaking and I was scared because we live in a world now where you don't know what's going to happen. But luckily I had a female officer. I actually had two, one guy over here and then she was over here. But she was the one that mainly talked to me, and she didn't give me a ticket, thank God. And I got to work on time, which is amazing. I still got to work on time. And I have to get my tags, which I told her I'm going to do that. Luckily, I don't live in Missouri where you have to go have a car inspection, and it takes all this money and work to get your stupid tags. Well, mine is just I changed my insurance, and I couldn't do it online. So anyway, but I was scared. And point being, I was scared. Because we live in a world now where what are our rights, and what if whatever. But that's the thing. So my thing about like MAGA right now is MAGA Trump supporters, right? For years, I think they've been holding this in for a long time. Like, Ralph in A Christmas Story, right? He had a bully. It's a different story, but the point was he built up rage. And I think that because of his bully, and I think that MAGA has built up a lot of rage at Democrats because we're like the goody teetotalers, I told you so, and Obama was like perfect, like, literally Biden was perfect, literally. And we're like the good people who want good things. And again, it's about they hate the weakness. And so they really have been waiting to see the downfall of democracy and goodness and weakness, because they were taught that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So you beat the child into submission, cut their hair, women should shut up, children should shut up, stop helping immigrants, and all this stuff. It is against weakness and against like empathy and compassion and all softness and all these things that are inside them. They've never developed. So they've been waiting and filling with rage in this moment to just beat the shit out of Democrats and immigrants. And so I really believe that MAGA right now are having like a field day watching this violence and this fear being put against immigrants and Democrats and women, and women. And they really are liking it. I hate to say. They're thriving off it, which is really sad. I hope they can get over it. I hope they get it out of their system, because at the end of the day, we do have to still be together. And the weakness and the softness and the empathy and the compassion that you don't work on in yourself in this lifetime, you're going to work on it on the other side. You're going to eventually work on it, or in your next life or your life after that. You're going to have to do the work eventually. So you may hate that Democrats are nice and kind and tree huggers and immigrant lovers, and we're all immigrants, by the way. But you may hate that, but at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to have to work on that and look at that in yourself, of why you don't like a weakness. And again, a weakness is usually strength, and strength is usually weakness. Minnesota shooting. Why did they hide him? Why did they go to his house? By the way, he was married to an immigrant woman from like Indonesia. So what the hell? They took his stuff. It was like Lee Harvey Oswald, and they went and confiscated everything. God knows it's still alive. Someone was saying they think he probably unalived himself somewhere. Maybe. My joke is that, well, not to really joke about it, but they put him in an alleyway and smashed his foot and hit his femur, so it looked like he got hit by a car. I wouldn't be surprised if after that he comes out and he's like, "Oh, look, I got hit by a car," and the Men in Black take all his information and cleanse his computer history, which it's probably bad. But how ironic that he's married to an immigrant. I just find that this like so, that's always the way. Isn't it always the way? Kitty wants out. I'll have to let her out here and hold on. I'll be right back. Kitty. Okay. I'm back. I go. Okay. Puppy dog's down here. So, and you know, why would they do that? If he was not guilty, if he had done all the proper things and she had really hit him and tried to hit him with her car, I think that they would already have him out and they'd be showing all the, evidence. Oh, look, he got hit. There he got hit again. He got hit again. But they don't have the evidence. So they're hiding him. They're hiding him. Now, if you had a kid and you lost $10 from your purse, and then that kid is acting really weird, and all of a sudden that kid's able to buy a new video game or a new toy or some candy, like 10 candy bars, and they're acting really weird, and then they hide the candy bars, they hide the video game, would you not assume the kid probably took the money and they're guilty? It's just like, it doesn't take a genius, a psychic, or even a lawyer to figure out that what's going on. They're hiding him. Where is he? Did he get hurt? And where's all his stuff? Where's his information? Why are they hiding him? I think we know why. And I think that, like I said the other day, Kristi Noem, the typical narcissist, when they're guilty and the evidence is stacked up against them and they can't handle it, they feign sickness to get sympathy and to gain time while the narrative changes. And she did that this weekend. After her round of Sunday talk shows, she went and had some sort of like hospital thing. And so that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now here's something. 45 in Iran. Why? Like, what the heck? Okay, so oil. He's making these posts about Iran. The protesters need to be able to protest, and we'll send things over there to stop the government from stopping the protesters. What? Like, what about here? Like, that's what's happening here. We need someone. Should we all move to Iran so that we'll be protected and we can like protest and speak up? Why is he protecting them? It has to be the oil, don't you think? It has to be, because it doesn't make sense. Next thing. That video about two doctors talking about this slurping thing that he's doing is a clear-cut sign that he has late-stage dementia. And I have been saying for the last year, and I hear other people saying it too, that 45 is not, because I remember last year I said he's not going to last through 2026. Now, and I get months. Now, this guy and this other doctor were both experts in dementia. We're saying that it's a huge indicator of late-stage dementia when a patient begins to slurp. What happens is they aspirate. They begin to, their lungs fill up. They don't have the ability to swallow and control their body anymore, and they start to aspirate in their lungs, and that's what causes their eventual passing. So that's because it can cause like pneumonia and consumption and all that stuff. So all things must pass. It's really bad right now, but no matter how bad it is and no matter how good it is, and it's been really good. Like, think about like the Beatles coming to America and JFK being president and Obama being president and all the good things, and the summer of love and the 80s with rock and roll and happiness and going to the skate park and, good music and good times. Pretty good, right? America's and the world's had pretty good times, and now we have really bad times, but all things must pass. So bad things pass too. So as bad as it is, it will pass, it will change, and we'll get back to good, and we just have to endure it right now. Remember last year, the stress and fear with the inauguration, and remember a year ago with the inauguration, somebody banged on my door. And I was terrified. My kids were here and we were all here. And it was MAGA. It was somebody mad at me about the stuff I've been saying online, because they don't like the truth. But you know what I did? I just like cognitively had to block that out because I've kind of lived in fear of stuff like that for a long time anyway with things in my life. So I've just kind of lived with that type of situation my whole life and just dealt with it. But I remember I was pretty down about the inauguration because I'd warned people, and of course we know the election was stolen, and I'd warned people about not letting 45 in office because he would take all the money. I said that months before the inauguration. I said it before the election. I said it after the inauguration. I said 45 and Elon are going to steal all the money. That's what I said. And it came true. And I was really down. I was like, well, here we go. He's getting inaugurated. But I kept hearing illegitimate president. Didn't put his hand on the Bible. I couldn't watch. I just heard about the events. But I kept hearing illegitimate president. And the other thing that happened was the night before the inaugurations, the night before into the morning, I had a dream of Paul McCartney where we were like on a date. He was wearing like a top hat and we were in like some party. It was just like a sweet, nice, happy dream. It wasn't like weird or anything like that. It was just like a happy, beautiful dream of Paul McCartney. And then the next day I made cookies and the guy, the weirdo MAGA, banged on my door and just whatever, dealt with it. And then I made cookies and I listened to Paul McCartney, London Town, which is one of my favorite albums and favorite songs. And him and Linda McCartney, it just like calmed me down. And I swear for like the next month or so, I would listen to that song over and over again, and because it would calm me down. And see, that's the thing when I talk about how we got through last year till now is finding moments of peace. Make sure you find moments of peace. Like sometimes I'll look at and I'll see the beautiful sky. Like the other day on the way to work, it was like this beautiful pink and purple sky. And I was like, oh, that's like when I was 17 and my mother was still alive. And it's just that feeling of, I don't know, there's just something going on with that where the universe, nature is, elements are trying to heal us. I really believe that. And it's through things like sunsets and clouds and birds and movies and music and songs. And that's like last night. Since I didn't have to work, I was able to watch this long mini series that I'd never watched before. And it was from like the 80s or something. And it was like so beautiful. It was like historical and a sweeping Forsyth type of British drama. And that made me happy. Books make me happy. I'm like reading. I'm making sure that I sit down and read, and I'll listen to music. When it gets really bad in my head with the politics and the fear and all the stuff going on, I'll listen to a song and that takes me back out and brings happiness to me. So that's what I think Spirit wants you to know. In fact, I wrote it down. It said, music, films, and reading help more than you know. So let's repeat that again. Music, films, and reading or books help more than you know. We may be in this horrible situation right now, but we each collectively have to heal constantly, reset ourselves. We deserve to be happy even in the worst of times. And it does help because it does change like the algorithms in the universe. When we help ourselves, we're helping everyone else. So what is the answer? Keep working on. Do we keep working on MAGA? Do we change MAGA? That seems impossible. I don't know if you can change them. I think the ones that have changed, most of them have already changed. But let's see, keep pushing the spiritual evolution that is needed. We're stuck in this hell with them, with MAGA. They created this hell, and that's the story I want to bring. It's a long time I read this book because, I love ghosts and paranormal stuff because I've always believed. And because I've had experiences and I wanted to read about other people's experiences, like, oh, I've had my own. So what did other people have? And I remember reading this book where this woman went to a house to investigate a haunting. And she found like down in the basement was the husband who had killed his wife and children and himself. And they were like in the basement. And the wife wanted to leave with the children in this ghost realm of the house, but he wouldn't let her, and he kept like preventing the wife from leaving. And the wife thought that she was doomed to this hellish ghostly experience with her husband stuck in the house of the scene of the crime. And the ghost hunter was like, no, you can leave, and she was able to coax the woman and the children to get out and go to the light. And that's the thing, like MAGA wants us to be in this dark hell with them. And again, they're afraid of facing their own weaknesses, because as children they were taught that weakness was bad, that they were bad people, that maybe they were gay, maybe, you know, if their hair got too long they were gay, that weakness meant that the spoil the rod, spoil the child thing hadn't worked, so therefore they must be against the Bible. And so a lot of it, like the shame and shame and shame. So no weakness, no weakness, no crying, no talking back. Don't talk back to your elders. Don't question the church. Say your read your scriptures and repeat them. Never think outside the scripture. Never think outside the priest, the pastor, the law, anything. Completely indoctrinated. But the thing is, so they feel like weakness is bad, so they're trying to suffocate and punish and kill and contain and capture the weakness in themselves. They see Democrats and immigrants and women, children as weak, and the weakness in themselves. I'm just going to repeat that a million times because that's what Spirit told me. And so that is their journey. And so how do we show them? How do we show them that it's okay, that weakness is actually part of the development of the human soul? And it's all curiosity is good, soul development, spiritual development. How do we show them? Well, the only thing we can really do is to develop ourselves, like the ghost woman and her children was, to help yourself. Help yourself. Get yourself out of the darkness. Maga will keep you in their darkness of fear and violence. 45 will keep you in his narcissistic darkness. He's Sauron. He really is. Go watch Lord of the Rings. And that's what's happening right now. If we work on our light, seek your own enlightenment, it will reflect on Maga. Do keep working on you. Yes, these horrible things are happening, but the only way out is within. Keep working on bringing light to the surface. Hold the light. Hold the light. Work on the light with yourself. Work on the light within each other. Everyone has a light, the light of Source. And like my beginning story of the girl at work who left, and I am keeping her light. I'm keeping my light and I'm keeping her light. And that's what we have to do. I don't think we can save Maga. I don't think we can. But we can keep our light. And it really does change things. And again, music and films and reading help more than you know. Find moments of peace. And the Spirit has said all year, keep hope. Stay hopeful. Because we are going to get through this. And again, all things must pass. They really will. Things can't stay this way forever. They're bad, but they can't stay this way forever, and we will endure. So I think that's my message. You guys, thanks for listening. This will probably upload 8 hours from now. Yeah. If you missed any, you'll have to wait till tomorrow. I might make a quick video just so I can upload something. But yeah. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great night. Bye. Signing out.